Most African countries are in a place where we're combating data illiteracy. We're trying to get the policies in place.
Data is king, and it's the capital of the 21st century. It is therefore very, very prudent to have states and nations and government have a law, regulation or policy on data governance as well as data protection and privacy of people.
If you are having different policies and laws in different countries, it becomes extremely difficult for people to do business, because as you move from one country to the other, the legal framework, the policy framework, the institutional frameworks may be so different that it makes operating across different countries impossible.
It's very, very important that we have a harmonized data protection law, because then what that means is that we are able to take care of cross-border issues, data flows, where data sits, where data rests.
Harmonizing this data will ensure that there is smooth flow of information across the continent.
Et les compétences numériques.
When we also look at all of the countries on the continent having a common framework, it then means that the markets are bigger for every country.
Even if that harmonization doesn't necessarily happen immediately or smoothly, just the fact that all these role players become aware of the challenges of harmonization enriches the way in which they implement these frameworks.
There's various countries that have amazing pieces of policies, acts and legislation, but the problem is always with implementation. So how do we help each other to implement that? And I think that's the fine balance that we need to try and get to. Not take away power, but work with the power to ensure that we're merging those efforts together.
Here I would have 5 countries of East Africa that have now national data laws, of now which as the region we are now looking forward come together to have one regional data protection law, which now allows us to move across.
I think one of the milestones is that as Kenya, we also had an opportunity in May this year to host not just East Africa, the Network for African Data Protection Authority. And one of the emerging issues during that conference was the importance of harmonization.
Uganda also embarked on a national data strategy. The aim was to make provision for most of what is required under the AU data policy framework.
We managed to single down and then have one thinking on how the interoperability of data can be done. From that, the first thing that we did is to come up with a platform which can accommodate and make sure that the public and the private sector are able to exchange information.
We've seen some quick wins. For example, the government in Kenya has just approved in parliament regulations for wheeling of power, which is waiting to be gazetted. And once that happens, then we as data centers are able to negotiate direct tariffs with the power producers at lower cost, and also get access to green energy, which is very key in our industry.
At the West African IGF that just took place in Dakar, we had a regional parliamentary track. It was also the launch of the West African Parliamentary Network on Internet Governance. There have been a lot of interested partners, for example, partners from the civil society, but also from the private sector, who wanted to collaborate with this parliamentary network on a regional perspective so that the laws that the various parliamentarians are bringing to the table are better aligned.
Nous sommes convaincus que cette collaboration multipartie nous permettra d'aller de l'avant dans notre mission de faire progresser la transformation numérique en Afrique. Nous sommes impatients de collaborer avec toutes les parties prenantes pour garantir la réussite de ce projet et pour favoriser la prospérité de la République du Sénégal, qui se positionne comme un précurseur en la matière, ainsi que pour l'ensemble du continent.
Nous avons la lourde tâche de répondre à ces problématiques, cette problématique de donner au Sénégal, et de pouvoir le faire de telle manière que, tel que nous l'avons défini dans la SN 2025, l'économie des données puisse donner de la valeur à l'autre part de PIB sur le plan Sénégal émergent au niveau du Sénégal.
Africa has a big part to play in the fourth industrial revolution. So in terms of having the right infrastructure, having the right education, having the right connectivity and having the right sustainable policies will make sure that Africa plays a very significant part in contributing to this fourth industrial revolution.